people oftentimes associate playing fast with mastery of the instrument. Now, it's not true. For example, the great Perlman, his violin passage is amazing, or Glenn Gould. Oof. But we need to understand how we can get there, and there are a few things that I learned that are extremely helpful, and actually within about 10 days we can really make some damage in the best possible way. I'm going to show you 5 simple points that you will really surprise how fast you can play fast. Alright, before you do that, please hit the like button and subscribe, and also hit the bell notifications. Thank you. Try these couple of exercises. I'm really curious how it works for you guys. Maybe do a 10-day technique speed kind of challenge for yourself, and drop a comment. Tell me how it's going. I'm really curious if this is helpful. Let's dive in. 5. A lot of people say we need to play slow to play fast. Now that's not entirely true. There is some truth to it, but it's not completely true. So the point is this: we need to create plasticity in our brain to learn a new skill. Now, one of the ways to do that is actually by making mistakes. We make a lot of mistakes, and then the correction is when we get excited, we get an adrenaline boost, and we start correcting, and we basically keep the good memories. Now, if we always play only slow, this will take a long time and maybe not really happen. Now, there are a few variables, right? It depends on your level and skill of guitar. And basically what I'm suggesting here is trying to play these sort of boosts of fast playing with less control. Now, this will stand as a contrast to most of the practice. So I will do that sometimes where I play fast or a little beyond my ability in order to kind of push my system to be able to do that. Now, this again brings me to point number 4, where we have to be able to play things in time and in control. If you're digging this, I made a technique and speed PDF. You can check it out. There are a bunch of videos there and a lot of information. Great exercise that I do a lot, and they really help as well. Check it out. In this point here, what we're gonna do is basically play with control. That means, on the contrary of kind of like bursts of really fast, whatever fast means to us, we will control and be at a tempo that is controllable and comfortable. So I'm going to use the metronome. What is the hardest song to play on guitar? Drop a comment. I want to check that out. I'll put the metronome on 60 BPM. 60. And what I'm going to do, I'll play G major just for a second. And I'll start just playing chord notes, trying to lock into this groove and feel that, and then I'll shift to 8 notes, basically playing 2 notes. And I want to try and do that with as much control as possible. So the sound, and I know what I'm playing, right? This is, again, the contrast to these bursts of speed. And then I'll do triplets, so... and then 60 notes. Now, you might say, oh yeah, I know this. Well, this is where most people fall. So basically, they don't have true control over 8 notes, chord notes, 8 notes, triplets, and 16 to the point that it's really locked, to push it beyond that moment, and then you can use these bursts of speed to try and push your technique even further. 3. Okay, so this point is just like taking your hand and trying to move each finger separately, like basically trying to have this kind of like sturdy, not too stressed though, and then just controlling the finger, trying to move this without moving the others, and then moving these two basically, not that easy, and then moving this one, like the middle finger, and then moving the index finger, and trying to have the other one kind of still. And again, now I'm using too much power, so it's a little shaky. So it needs to be a little more relaxed and trying to just control each finger separately. Sounds simple, but it's not. And again, we need to have this flexibility. Another one is, this is kind of coming from piano. A friend of mine showed me these exercises years ago. So we want to have this kind of sturdy and having this part very flexible. So we want to have these fingers pretty strong and tight, but this part, this kind of like hinge, if you will, needs to be very loose and very chill. So just kind of trying to see if I can have some intensity here. and still controlling this, and again being relaxed, and we're trying to kind of develop specific muscles in different areas. And then one more is really cool, is like basically trying to keep your hand, no stress, and then moving one finger down and then trying to bring it up, but just trying to bring it from this kind of hinge, right? I'm calling it hinge, but you understand what I'm saying, right? Just trying to use this one, this part, this this hinge. I like this this word. So again, this one, just down and up, and again trying to be more loose and more in control where the motion comes from here, and then the same thing here. This is kind of like classic piano exercises that I think are coming from Cortot and a few other folks that my friend used to study with his teacher that studied with him. So it's like kind of like coming from these this idea of like dropping into the piano. I don't know too much about it, but he showed me these great exercises to build muscle in your fingers, and I think that's really helpful. One more very guitar thing that I want to show is this one, basically like taking the first finger and second finger and pushing the fret down, the string down, and oftentimes I'll do it in time. So I'll go like this, and then when I get to the the E string, I'll probably try to push it, and I'll push it up. And the B string, I guess I usually push it up as well. And try to really, really push with this finger, the same thing, and I'll do it a couple of times and then really bend it. And then with each one of these combination, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1. That's kind of like ascending, descending, and then I'll do the other combinations, 2 and 3, all these options, 3 and 4, and 2 and 4, and 3 and 4. It takes just like maybe 2 to 4 minutes, very short, but I oftentimes do it with a click or this like groove, and then try to lock in, and it's really like a gym for the fingers. Again, don't go too crazy, but we want to create control. I think this is really important in order to create speed. 2, this is going to be intro to legato. So legato is basically hitting one note and playing the other notes. You probably know this and you probably practice it a little bit, but I'm going to show you something that kind of changed my perspective of how to get better at that pretty fast. So basically, I'm hitting the note and I'm trying to hit these, right, basically hammer on, and I'm trying to be very aware about the balance of these 3 notes. Right, so I want them to sound very similar. Now, I'm playing 3 notes per string in this kind of shape. And I'm trying to make sure that it's all in control. So when I'm ascending, I'm kind of imagining the saxophone or the piano, where I'm kind of like, you know, kind of doing this motion. And when I'm descending, that's very important as well. When I'm descending from here, for example, I'll play the note, and of course this is hammer and pull off, so this is pull off. So I'm kind of imagining the fingers as helpers, if that makes sense. So almost the fingers become the instrument. What I mean is, when I'm playing this, I'm kind of exaggerating, right? So you see it, but the finger becomes, you know, in a way, the pick itself. I heard it from a few guitar players actually. So this is kind of like something that I didn't think about. It's almost obvious because you're doing hammer and pull off, but just thinking about the idea that the finger is the pick was quite helpful for me. And again, I heard it from a few resources, so it's really cool. Now, this is all fine and dandy, ascending, descending, but the thing is, we want to be able to do it very accurately in time. And again, starting with quarter notes, 8 note, triple, and 16, it's not easy, because when it is very slow, you know, you need to be extremely accurate. It's hard, and of course, once you go faster, it's harder because it's fast. So I'm gonna just show you how I would practice it, basically. 3, 4, this is 65. So I'm just trying to be balanced. Not easy. This is why I can practice. The same thing here, imagining and not letting it go. This is not easy. Maybe I'll do 8 notes. pause here, but I'll start basically accelerating. So I did core notes, 8 notes, triplets, 16, and then I did 6 triplets at the end, and oftentimes I'll go to 30-second, and I'll try different tempos. I do it with 65, sometimes I'll do it really slow at 40, sometimes I'll do it way faster, and I'll do it a couple of times, and then after I'm done with this position, 3 notes per string, I'll do it here and here and here. So even if you do like, you know, you take G major, you can work on this for like 10-15 minutes and you'll definitely feel it. But again, the idea is really locking into each one of the subdivision, not pausing and trying to really imagine the next one so you can do it as accurately as possible. Again, it's not easy, but it's very important to practice it with a lot of kind of truthfulness. This is very important because it's a very fast lane to play things fast and locked in. And I'm saying locked in because we want to take, for example, a phrase, just a simple line, and hear how it sounds in different tempos. One of the reasons that people are stumbling on with playing fast is that they're not really hearing the subdivision in the different tempos as clearly, and it's not easy. We all practice it because it's not that easy to hear it when it's really fast, because it is fast. So the idea here is getting comfortable with different tempos, both slow and both fast, at two extremes, and they're both very complementary to each other. So you can do it with phrases and later on with improvisation. So I'll show you what I would do, for example. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 65 BPM. I'll take one simple line. Just locking it in. Then I'll change the tempo a little bit. Push it in a little bit more. Right, then I'll do it incrementally. I'll go faster a little bit now. I try, actually right now I can move, but I'm trying consciously also not to move my my body in the sense of like two counting, just so I'm not dependent on my limbs. Then I'll push it more. 2. Alright, so I'll push it way further to a point that I start almost failing, and then the same thing, I'll go really slow and try to groove with it. Now this is a simple line. I'll do the same idea with more complex and more chromatic ideas. And also what I would do, and this is something that I like doing every day actually, is like I'll put the metronome, I'll start very slow, even start on 15 BPM. Maybe I'll put it on beat 2 or something, and I'll play, I'll decide on a subdivision, let's say 8 note or triplets on 16. Today I was playing 16, for example, for an hour, and I started with the metronome on 15 on beat 2, and then slowly increasing, so 15 and then maybe 17 and then maybe 18, and in each one I would stay for a while. So the idea of the 8 notes or the 16 or whatever you kind of working with is being more and more stable. So the idea of just like being able to hear is also helpful when we increase it. Now, of course, it could sound that I'm contrasting point number 5 that we start with, but it's also, remember, depends on your level of ability. So we need to understand how to go about things and how to kind of push ourselves from our, I guess, maybe plateau, if you will. So try these couple of exercises. I'm really curious how it works for you guys. Maybe do a 10-day technique speed kind of challenge for yourself, and drop a comment. Tell me how it's going. I'm really curious if this is helpful. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate you guys hanging here. So again, thank you so much, and I'll see you very soon. Peace out.